Hey guys, it's Lazy, and into this video, I want to talk about my day 1 setup. So we had a blast playing the campaign. The league mechanics is insane, so if you're starting late, make sure you do the league mechanics in the campaign. It will slow you down a little bit, but you have a lot of power in the early game. If you do the league mechanics, the build perform really well in the campaign. You need to just kind of follow the guy strictly, picked up a weapon at the certain breakpoints, then your gameplay should be optimal and it should be good. Now, in terms of the character and build, I think Lightning Spear with a little bit of a change toward using the bear for frenzy charge generations actually turned out to work better than I thought. For the end game, I'm testing out a few new setups, but yeah, this is how the character is performing in red map. I'm using this character to farm abysses and breach, and you can pretty much do any of the mapping content. Now, bossing in single target is not the strong suit, but it is passable in my opinions. The only problem with this setup is that you have to use Stormlands, and if the boss move a lot, it is quite annoying. And also, I just want to point out this patch has been great so far, but the optimization has been quite bad. I'm going to go over a few tips for the first day on the campaign, as well as crafting your own weapons, and try to keep the build as budget as possible to get you guys to T15. So in the campaigns, just follow the same exact setup that I share. We are using Stormlands and Explosive Spear for bossing since Act 1, and as long as you have your weapon upgrade at a certain breakpoint that I share, you know, level 16, 33, and then 40, 45, 51, depending on what's your luck. And if you are playing Trade League, just buy quick upgrades for like 1 Chaos or 1X. The league mechanics drop a tons of good item as well as currency, so if you are in the campaign still, make sure you always do it. The only deviation I had compared to the written guy was because I picked up a very early and folding dawn, and that is like our kind of like the early game version that I even use even when we get to map. It gave us a bunch of extra spirit, so I was able to also run War Banner on the setup, but everything else is exactly the same. The most important thing when you get to the interlude is probably finding a level 51 weapon base, that is C-Class Spear. You can craft it by yourself, and I'll show you the crafting method that I use, and you can apply it to your campaign weapon as well as your early map weapons and into red map weapon as well. As soon as you swap to the Eternal Rage setup, you can choose to spend the Rage to get Frenzy Charge for Stormlands, or you can just passively kind of use the Rage generation as a form of damage increase. It is really up to you. If you want to play this as a 2-button build, then go ahead and do it. Overall, my campaign took around 9 hours, which is kind of crazy. I spent like 2-3 extra hours just doing those questline, the new questline, and the improved layout didn't really help too much. So here is a very quick demo on the first few look at the T15 map. So I just got the T15 maps. I got a decent weapons, but nothing too special. It has like a T6 physical roll and then hybrid roll. And because we are playing on Amazon, we can get this weapon extremely cheap and extremely strong. I'll probably recraft my weapon at some point, but I'll show you how I craft this weapon exactly, and if you're lucky, you're probably going to get something even better than I do. This build excels at running the abysses, breaches, and mapping contents. The spear, as you can see, we didn't really need Frenzy Charge, but the way I play it is I press Bear Form and generate Frenzy Charge whenever I can, at least to try and keep up the skill speed that is coming from the offhand unique talisman, which I'll show you in a bit. Because we attack so fast, we can spend a lot of Frenzy Charge, so using Frenzy Charge for Lightning Spear is like whatever, but you should get at least 1 Frenzy Charge from Bayform to throw the Stormlands, let it explode and kill the rare monster immediately. Most of the time when you have enough damage, obviously. But yeah, this character is like very early on. I still don't have a lot of defensive, so our main thing here is just to focus all in on the offensive of this character, try to dodge the roll out of stuff, and generally it's working pretty well. Now, for the current version that I'm running, I'm using a Malice Scepters. It's mainly to help a little bit with single target damage. If you just got to map and you are in the early session of map, progressing through map, I'll highly recommend you to just go with the setup I have on Mobalytics, which do not use an offhand, and I still use Dance with Death. It is an extremely strong node, all the way later when you get more accuracy and you have more attack speed. So let me just skip to the boss fight here. We prepped a Frenzy Charge to throw out Frenzy Charge Stormlands. Make sure you don't throw out the second one too fast. Let the first one explode first. And then feel free to do Sniper Mark, throw out Stormlands into 3 Explosive Spear, and just rinse and repeat. It might sound a little bit complicated, but once you get the rhythm down, it is a lot simpler than you think it is to play. Because they kind of change and nerf crafting, here is how you craft the campaign weapon as well as the mapping weapon as well. So you see we start with a good base, so you can buy Hybrid Fist, it works for Amazon. We slam on the Greater Augmentations, it doesn't have a suffix, and use Essence of Abrasion to add on Flat Fist. And then we use Greater Exaltation, add on 2 more, either a suffix or prefix. We desecrate it with Berserk Jawbone, and then we go Unveil. Now, to use Abyssal Echo or not is really entirely up to you. If you think the weapon has great suffix and maybe prefix after you have added on the Greater Exalt Slam, then go ahead and use Abyssal Echo. For this example, I run into physical damage, which is not really a high tier, but I'll take it anyway. Because it's good enough for now. I'll probably come back and craft this later on with like T1 or T2 Fist or Hybrid Fist, depending on if I'm staying on Amazon or not. But yeah, this one is very much serviceable for T15 mapping. Alright, so for the day 1 recap, today we farmed about 24 Divine. I got my level 70 Spear, which I kind of craft early on and use the same method, but it's a lot worse. And then here's my current spear. My current gear is mainly there for maximum life. I go for maximum life, capping my resistant. I think resistant capping is really important, at least when you get to map. You can see I have a lot of like dexterity ins and, you know, strength on the gear because in my setup we use a lot of attributes. So having high attribute make it a lot easier to gear all the skills and stuff like that, because we stretch out pretty thin. And then we have some extra spirit here, strength. This one is lightning damage rarity, some resistance. I gotta swap over to Malice Scepter setups to help with single target damage for a little bit, but I think you don't really have to for the early game because you don't have the attack speed, and also it's still, you know, I'm not sure if this is the best, but I add the Amor Mandragora Talisman. So this one gives you Druidic Prowess, which basically when you spend rage you get skill speed like that. So you have Frenzy Charge, you also have this, so you get 10% increased skill speed, which is really good. So it helps you throw out Spear, do that, and then you go into the same rotation and do that. So in map you can actually spam like that. Obviously, having Frenzy Charge for Lightning Spear is really good, and not having it is fine as well, so it's really up to you on what you want to do. I just mined it here, so it was really simple for me to use it. Mainly, it's gonna be there, so I have Frenzy Charge for the Stormlands, which if you throw it down like this, you have to wait for it to explode. But yeah, once again, this is just a very basic early game gear, nothing too special. You should always craft your own spear, because yeah, if you get something like this, you save a lot of currency. For the passive skills tree, here's my first 3 ascendancy points. I kind of farm it myself. Was not that hard with this build, and then yeah, I don't think I deviate too much from the written guy, but I kind of like path down here as well. I think these few notes are very strong because mainly I was lacking a lot of attributes, so these notes that I have attribute is really good. And I also path here as well because I go I want to get more accuracy rating, mainly for penetrate, so it just synergizes very well on the Amazon. And for the gem setups, right now we are running I was testing out some Spirit Walker stuff. I didn't really like it. But yeah, overall the conviction is actually really strong. So eventually when I swap over to Spirit Walker, I might try it. And then I also try some Elemental Search shenanigan. But I think if you want to go fully offensive for like boss content, I think this can be really strong. Which is something I'm not sure if I will push this character into the end game. Now going with like a Malice Scepters give you so much spirit that I don't even know what like I can't even spend them all, so I just have stuff in here. Cannibalism is actually really strong. It helps you get like life recover on kill, which is like a boon for us during map because you don't see me dying too much. Like when you farm maps and you kill a lot of monsters at the same time, just like not having enough of these defensive stats, but we sustain so well that it's really hard for us to die unless we get one shot. But yeah, so cannibalism, explosive spear, falling. I think all the setup I put in Mobalytics, so you can just kind of check it out there. The main thing I change is adding pinpoint, critical, and fork. So fork for mapping is great. This is like lightning spear with bolt nerf, then you just go fork. You do a little bit less damage, but the clear is still insane. And then I also add a Mirage Archer setup when I add the Scepter for lightning exposure. Now before that, if you don't have lightning exposure anywhere else, you can probably run it on lightning spear as well. But trying some Herald of Thunder setups with Eonia Thunder, which I haven't really finished working on. I have Obscene Oath here. It doesn't really work right now because I don't have Mana Leech. But I was having some mana issues early on, but now I no longer have any mana issues. Probably because I add Clarity 2, so if you really have mana issues, you can probably replace Precision 2 with Clarity 2. And then yeah, just kind of like throwing out stuff in here because I have a lot of spirits, so I'm not even sure which one's like fully optimal. But yeah, Eternal Rage setup with Precision, so you can run Precision 1 and 2 in both setups, and I also have Cannibalism here, which is something I highly recommend. So like my recommended setup is on Mobalytics for the early game, so just make sure you check it out. Once I'm happy with like the T15 red map setups, I'll share that. But everything else should be the same. Alright, so that's it for the day 2 update. If there's any question, feel free to ask me in the comments. I kind of streamed my first day. I'm not sure if I'm gonna stream on the second day, so there's VOD for the first day if you want to see how this character progress. Yeah, I'm at level 85, and I'm thinking about either, you know, swapping to Spirit Walker, or we'll try something else on Totems, which is a secret build, so more on that later. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys, and hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next update.